Hello and welcome back to Umbral Island. This is episode 4. In our last episode, we had a little bit of combat with the Bailiff on the road to Catskin, and after our party became victorious, there was a little bit of an inter-party debacle between Mel and Aaron Knight, in which some threats were made and some words were shared. And at the very end of the last episode, we had arrived at the gates of Catskin, in which a few members of our party deceived their way past the guards, and one member of our party dropped a very big name. So, to open up, as your wagon is rolling through the city of Catskin, it is a sort of depraved hive of... As you roll through the gates, you see buildings that are crafted out of the sand, mud, and sparse woods that are found in the desert. The buildings are held together by what looks like the sheer will of their craftsmen and a little bit of clay. The roofs are made from thatch and spare stones and little twigs. As you get deeper into the center of town, the buildings get more and more expensive. They go from I believe the word is like the adobe huts into large buildings that are stacked with brick and mortar, sandstone, it looks like. The buildings here are mostly residential. This is where a lot of people live. This is a central area for population on the island. But as you get closer into the center of town, if you were to move there, you would be seeing a lot more shops and commercial districts. The people here, on the other hand, they're not as worn down as the buildings themselves. The people in this town are wearing fine clothes. They don't really have holes in them like they did back in Hare's Hide. These people are dressed dignified. There's not an overwhelming sense of poverty like there was before. Everybody has both their shoes and their clothes are properly hemmed. But as you get closer to the center of town and get out of the more poorer districts, there are patterns that start showing up in the passersby. There are people walking around with wrappings over parts of their body, wrappings which looks like bandages. And they are either over parts of the face or maybe even the arm. If you wanted to inspect these, you can perform a medical check. It looks like a lot of people many people in this town have strange wrappings, more than should be necessary. If one wanted to make a medical check, they could, but I mostly just want to know, where are you guys headed in this town? It is built in a sort of circular nature, so the outer areas are less money, and as you move into the center, you're going to find more wealth as you move in. And in the center of this town is a giant cathedral, a church with two massive stone steeples piercing into the sky with bell towers on each of them.
And you said that was in the center of town, right?
That is in the center of town, yes. And its architecture also does not mimic the rest of the town. Whereas the rest of the town is built out of adobe, clay, sandstone, this is built out of stone, a hard rock. It looks like maybe slate or granite.
I'll look back to everyone now that we're going in. I believe we should find a place to gather information. Places like taverns and inns usually are the best option, in my opinion. Don't want to go guns blazing without knowing what we're getting into, right?
What time of day?
So, if you can't tell, this is Umbral Island. You cannot see the sun. There is just always a general sense of darkness and cloudy. Some parts of the day may be brighter than others, but you are not going to be able to see the sun. But make a nature check to see if you can infer.
We have been awake for a while, though, right? This is still the first day we've been here?
You have taken a short rest. I don't believe you've taken a long rest.
Yeah, this is still the first day. Which is crazy.
So I'm going to presume that y'all are still not fully into the center of town. You've just been riding straight ahead. As you get around to the center of town, you enter sort of a bazaar district. Does anybody want to make any observations?
I just want to look to see if I can find a sign where it says tavern or inn, anywhere I can see where people like gather.
Absolutely. Just give me a perception check, low DC. And
Cool.
what was that nature check?
Oh, I was going to say I'll also help look for an inn.
All right, roll that
15.
with advantage. 15. So you remember awaking on the ship, and it took you about an hour to get to shore, and then you spent several hours inside of Hare's Hide, and then about 8 hours traveling to Catskin. So it is most likely midnight, but nobody can tell. As you look around the town, you don't need to make a perception check for this. There is about half the amount of people that you think you would see in a city as busy as this. You can infer that this is because since there is no sun, people sleep when they need to and they wake up when they need to. And so at any given moment, a third of the population could be asleep at any time. There is no hard sleep schedules like we have in our society. And so, what did you get on your perception?
I got a dirty 20.
I got a 4.
4. 4 does not beat the DC of 5. So, on to that dirty 20. As you're riding through the town and you enter this bazaar district, they have little stalls outside with cloth coverings over them, and they seem to be selling lots of grain-based food. Outside of the town, you did notice that there were fields. There was agriculture. Things were growing. But with this dirty 20, I know it's not what you were looking for, but it's a fun piece of set building. All of the breads and such that are being sold in this town are a much darker hue than a typical bread. It's what you would almost consider rotten, but they are purchasing it and eating it with glee. And as you run through this district, you find that in the center of this district, there is a building in which many people are flocking in and out of. And on the outside of the building, it says Steins on a big sign. It's some of the only.
What?
It's a sign, and it says like Stein's Tavern, a guy named Stein. And on this sign, it's like the only bit of color that you do see in this town. Everything is a muted brown sand color, wooden color sandstone, and this has a bright, like, some red paints painted onto the sign.
So that's really the only kind of establishment we see. There's not been any signs of like inns anywhere.
There have been buildings with signs on the outside that have little pictures of beds on them, but inns in this town they're not few and far between, but most people use them as apartments. But you definitely could like enter a random inn and rent a room there for the night. But visitors do not happen very often.
Point the tavern out as we're kind of riding past it. Maybe we should stop in there and get some food and maybe get some recommendations for where we could sleep.
The bad idea.
Looks like a good place as any to me.
Besides, when people are drunk, their mouths are looser. So maybe we get some information. I don't know.
And their pockets are usually a little more open too.
All right. So, do you head into the tavern?
Hell yeah.
Sure.
There is an area outside for you to tie up your horse and wagon. So that's not something that you need to worry about. As you walk up to the tavern, the first thing that strikes you is there are no closed walls. Every wall has an open window. The windows are glass, but they're all raised open, and you can smell the stench of rotting flesh and alcohol and exiting the building. And as you approach, it is a stone building, like a light sandstone. And as you step up onto the steps, there is saloon doors that you can push open. Who enters first?
I'll do it. Why not?
All right. So, do you just swing open the saloon doors like you've done this before?
Have I done this before?
That's up to you.
Man, I'll kick the doors open.
Kick them bitches open?
Yeah.
All right. So, like every scene in every Western, you kick the saloon doors open and they make a loud clack onto the walls. And as they sort of like hit the walls and ripple a little bit, you see many of the eyes in the saloon start looking towards you. This is a bar filled with very gruff-looking patrons. They have all of them have long beards, tough hats. They are all wearing clothes that give off a sense of masculinity. There are mostly what looks like blue collar workers in this building. People who work out in the fields or deal with the ranches and such. So lots of wide brimmed hats. As you look around, though, you see that same pattern that you saw before. People that have bandages wrapped around certain parts of their body, their neck, their arms, their legs, and they walk with a crutch. Lots of patterns such as that. And those same people are also showing off more. You roll me a perception check to just like get a basic view of the vibe in this building.
Vibe check.
A vibe check, if you will.
6.
You are not able to precisely place why there is so many people with these bandages and why they are so why they are so surprised and or intimidated by seeing people dressed like y'all in here.
Can I, it's like seeing Aaron kind of just pause and looking around, can I just walk past him, like unafraid and unaffected, just holding my parasol in front of me and just walk straight up to the bar?
Absolutely. And there are absolutely 0 eyes that are not on you, because this is a building filled with, everyone's wearing pants, I should say. You are the only person entering this building with any kind of feminine aura.
Also, as I pass Aaron, I'm gonna just whisper under my breath, "We're not supposed to be drawing attention to ourselves, dumbass." And I'll just keep walking.
Mr. Adam Magus, this is probably something that you have more experience in than anyone else, entering very dingy saloons. Is there anything that you would like to do in here?
I'm just gonna go straight up to the bar as well, and I'll go up to the bartender and order a beer.
The bartender is a gruff man he is balding at the top of his head. He does not wear a hat. He wears a white buttoned-up shirt with, the little bow tie. And one of his arms is fully wrapped up in those bandages, and he has a very large gray mustache on him. Adrian, this is a person that you saw in a vision on the way to Catskin. You had a small vision, and you saw this person in that vision. But you walk up to him, and you order a beer.
Like, what have you got in terms of beer, bartender?
Well, mostly the cheap kind.
That's good enough for me.
Cheap and dark beer. He takes out a glass, sets it down, fills it with what looks like a very dark beer, which does not fit his German accent. He fills the large pint glass and slides it towards you, and he says, "Von Kappa."
Slide him the copper.
Danke. And he takes the copper and he puts it in a pouch. And he says, "Is there anything that I can get you?" And he refers that to you, Mel.
I'm gonna just casually slide over a gold piece. Do you have a room that my friends and I could speak in privately? Or any potential rooms that we could stay in? Most of the inns are not to our taste, and are quite full.
Roll a persuasion check to sort of get the subtext across of what you were saying.
A 14.
A 14. He takes the gold piece and he looks at it with his good hand, and he holds it up, and he squints at it. He looks back at you, and he puts it in the same pouch, and he says, "Yeah, there is a cellar. Would that suit your needs?"
That will be fine, thank you.
Who all is it? Is it the 4 of you in your party?
Yes. I had to make sure we were only 4 people.
The cellar is behind the bar. Please follow me. And he goes to the side of the bar and he lifts up the the little bar door that you lift up and lay onto the bar. He lifts that up and he ushers the lot of you in. And
Don't
he
want
says,
to go down yet.
"Not yet."
Yeah, before I go down, can I do a insight check on this man?
Absolutely.
I don't trust anyone leading me into dark places.
I was mostly just gonna set my stuff down in there and come back up, but
Cool. That's gonna be a 17.
17. You roll the insight on him, and this is a man capable of extreme violence.
Mhm.
That is the first sense that you get off of him. You make more astute observations that a simple look at somebody will not get you. You start analyzing him. You are a man who is also capable of extreme violence, and you know what to look for. You see the way he places his eyes on everybody, the way he scans them. He looks at their belts, he looks at their sides for any indentations in their jackets. The way that he moves, he places his feet down in such a way that is so mandatory and so calculated that you know that he has been in fights before. But he carries all of that with a very genuine smile. So this is a dangerous person, but you can tell by the looks on his face and the way that he's gesturing around you that he does not mean you any harm.
Okay. Yes, I think I'll also go down a little bit later on. Maybe I'll have a drink or two. But I appreciate your hospitality, sir.
Danke. Is there anything that you would like to drink?
Whatever you have.
More cheap beer. And he pours you a pint and slides it over to you.
And actually, could you make it 2?
Yes, sir. And he pours another one and hands both of you, or hands you both of them, 2 pints of dark beer.
Perfect.
That would be 2 copper pieces.
Yep. I'll hand him the copper.
Right. So who all goes down to the cellar?
I'm going.
yeah, I wanted to at least go down and see it. I don't necessarily have to stay down there, but
Yeah.
for now.
After he pours the beers, he leads you both down there and takes you behind the bar. And there is a small sort of maze of crates and barrels of where he keeps all of his goods. And he leads you behind a few crates, and there is a trapdoor. He opens up the trapdoor and takes a candle from a nearby crate, and he lights it with a matchstick. And he leads the way down there. He starts climbing down a little ladder, holding the candle. He says, "You can follow me." As you both follow him down to the cellar, he takes the candle and he starts lighting a few more candles on the walls. There aren't many. There's about 2 candles in this room, and so it's very dimly lit, but it looks like another storage area. It's also very cold down here. This would be where he stores his perishables. Roll me a perception check as you get down here. Or investigation, whichever's higher.
That's gonna be a 22 for me.
22.
22 for me as well.
Damn! Alright.
We're
Oh,
on
hell.
fire.
Let's go.
As you work your way down here, you both hear him step on a certain floor tile, and you hear it creak in a way that shows that this is not on the that floor tile is not on either foundation or earth. There is hollows beneath it. Something's underneath that. I say tile, it's a floorboard. Something is underneath that floorboard. But he lights the room up, and there are crates of perishable goods. And as he says, for the gold, you may have your own devices down here, but I have done an inventory, so please do not take anything. I will know. And none of you are very easy to forget faces. I have not seen anybody like you around here before. But I do not ask. I'm not going to ask questions. Everyone here has secrets to hide. God knows I do.
Sure, well, do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions while we're down here by ourselves?
Sure, absolutely.
And I can pay you, of course, but,
That's
What
what
do you-
depends on the question.
yeah,
Surely a gold is more than you have seen in quite a long time.
Yeah.
so as you can probably already tell, we're not from around here. We actually, got onto this island very recently. And, we're looking to we're looking to help the people here as much as we can. And I was just going to ask if you could give us any information about the person who runs this town. We'd like to meet him.
This should be a safe enough spot, sure. He places down the little candle that he was holding. He places it onto a little box, and he pulls a pipe from his pocket, places it in his mouth between his teeth, and pulls another matchstick, lights it. He sort of lights it on a piece of skin under his chin and neck, and places the lit matchstick into his pipe and starts puffing smoke. He puts it out and throws it onto the ground, and he says, "There are a few people who could be considered leaders in this town. How about we'll say 5 silver for each of them. Da?
Sure.
Splendid. So, the first one would be Marshal Whalen. He would be considered our primary lawkeeper in the town. All of the skeletal undead creatures that you see roaming the streets with guns and dusters and police stars, those are all his men. He rides on a flaming horse, and he is most vicious in his punishment. I'm sure you've met the big guy if you're new on town.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
I've seen him once or twice.
Yes, well, he and the big guy are very good friends, and he takes many pages out of his book. There are daily crucifixions in the town, people hung up on crosses, let to bleed and atrophy to death. And we don't know what happens to the bodies. You'll find very quickly we do not have a graveyard. But that is the one that has been talked about the most. So he says, Marshal Whalen, he's been causing lots of problems recently, but I do not need to get into the local politics. He's never found around the saloon, though. I don't know much about him personally. He spends most of his time in the inner city. Only his goons ever come out here. But next person of ample power in the town would be the High Priest. We don't really know his given name, but the High Priest, he gives sermons in the center of the town every day, typically between what we used to call midnight and 2 a.m. But since there is no sun, we do not see that as an insane hour to be up at the night. That is just part of our day now. But he performs sermons there in which that's where the crucifixions happen, and other shows of power. It happens in the town square outside of the cathedral. But this is somebody I actually do know a little bit more about, and for, we'll say 2 more silver, I can give you a tip.
You're really bleeding me, but I'll give it to you.
I've got to add them. I'll hand him another gold.
He looks at the other gold and his eyes go wide. He puts the gold into the same pouch and he goes, "All right. I know what you are here for. I also heard the call. So I give this to you in good faith, and I give this to you knowing that you're good people. I have good eyes. I know that you are the ones that the call was for. You show up at a very convenient time. So, as I say this, do not get me crucified. I will not forgive you." The High Priest comes to the saloon once a week, and he comes for a very big poker game. We have to clear out everyone here. But the ones who are permitted to get in, which would be several people that are high-ranking within the deputies of the marshal, the doctor of the town, and also several members of high society. They come in here and they play cards, and they drink all of my beer and eat all of my food, and I cannot even charge them. But this is a very consistent thing that happens. I could probably tell you when the next time they'll be here is.
Sure.
How many more days?
tomorrow night. Typically, the pattern is he does the sermon, he gets dressed into his casual clothes, and then he comes here and meets his high society friends. They don't do this in the inner city taverns, inner city saloons, because it would be too easy to get spotted there. So,
So, what can you tell me about gods, dangers with him, and things like that?
gods
he
and
got?
dangers. He usually carries a couple deputies as bodyguards. The deputies, they work under the marshal. And the deputies, they are equipped with firearms and sparse melee weapons. Not many. The people in this town are not too fond of blades or clubs. They very much like the sophistication of a firearm. But
What do you think? Oh, what do you think would introduce more chaos in the city? Taking out the high priest, or trying to take out Saint Malachi?
Saint Malachi would be a much bigger endeavor. But perhaps the high priest. Well, I do not want to introduce an order of operations, but Malachi would definitely introduce more chaos into the equations of everything. But
Could taking out the high priest first potentially make it easier to take out Malachi?
it would raise the suspicions, and it would definitely cause panic amongst the higher chains. It might make it either easier or much more difficult to get to the saint. Especially if they know that there's a band of assassins running around the town.
Right.
They might make it a bit harder to get to his chambers.
So quickly, what do you know about the saint? What do you know about Malachi?
He's immortal. There have been sort of resistance movements within the town before, but that is true for every town on the island. There was once a bombing at a sermon that the Saint Malachi had attended, and in that bombing, there were people covered in his flesh and bile, but the next day he walked the streets like nothing happened. He's the only member of the theocracy. Is that? Yeah, theocracy. He's the only member of the theocracy that walks around covered in bandages but has no marks underneath them. By all means, he's completely human. He stays typically at his chambers inside of the cathedral. But, well, these are just rumors. This is not confirmed. He takes another, very big hit of his pipe and puffs it out and then throws the ashes, dumps them onto the ground. The rumors are that he is quite a debaucherer. There are many, sex workers in the town who have said rumors that her or a friend of hers or an acquaintance had been into his chambers before. But this is not confirmed. Only rumors. But there are other things such as people have gone missing, and not in the crucifix kind of way. Young children. And we have a rule against the crucifixion of young children. Typically, they just get thrown in jail. They never get put to the cross. And people don't go missing here. It's not a criminal cannot get away with it because there's a marshal that was trained by the bailiff. He finds everything. If there's ever a murder, it's solved within the day. And there have been many people spreading the rumors that these children are going missing, and they end up inside the cathedral somewhere.
How do you know that they're inside the cathedral?
It's just what I've heard. This is actually... Okay, this one you definitely do not repeat ever anywhere to anyone. This should probably just stay between you two, if not... But if you do tell the others in your party, make sure that it is very private. There is... This one I heard from the high priest who works with the saint. And he was giving a little anecdote to his friends over a game of cards one night. And he claimed that he had went into the priest's room and there was nothing except a small skeleton in there.
Into the saint's room.
In the saint's room, yes. He says that the room contained a small skeleton. I'm sure you don't understand how much this gold of yours is lifting my cautions. I haven't seen this much money in years, ever since I lost my arm.
Well, we certainly thank you for trusting us with this information.
Yes, don't make me regret being so loose-lit.
Absolutely. You can expect your Malachar to be dealt with within the week, I think. Don't worry.
I appreciate you and your confidence.
Have we gotten all we need to know, or do you have anything else?
I think I've said all that I'm comfortable saying.
Alright. I guess we can go back up and meet the others. If we need to drop anything off here, we can.
I was going to say I think I'm going to set out my bedroll and at least set some of my stuff down in here before we go back upstairs.
Right.
But you are free to head back up there and let Aaron and Adrien know that we are coming back.
Right.
If you sleep down here, I will charge you. The barkeep looks at you and he says, "If you do sleep down here, I will be charging you."
That's all right.
That's fine.
As I leave to go back up the stairs, I flip another gold piece up towards the barkeep, and I go ahead upstairs.
He is at this point giddy, like you can sort of see it under his demeanor. This is, you'll find that gold does not come commonly. But you head back up and you leave a bedroll.
Yeah, I'll set my bedroll down. I'll keep my purse with me, and I'll leave my big sword downstairs, but I'll keep my daggers on me.
Absolutely. I'm gonna make a roll for my guy here. Look at that. He looks at you, and he looks you up and down, sort of analyzes you, and he says, "Well, please enjoy your stay in Catskin. I'm going to head back upstairs, but if you will be staying here, and since you are heroes," and he whispers it, "since you are heroes, I'm sure I can trust you to, not steal."
Don't worry, I'll make sure they keep their hands clean.
I can tell that you are probably the most responsible amongst them.
I don't actually laugh, that's just me, out of character.
Mm-hmm.
You have my words, I will keep them in line.
He takes his little candle, he puts the metal part in his mouth, and he starts to climb the ladder. Is there anything else that you do down there, or do you just leave a bedroll?
I want to check the floorboard once he's fully upstairs and the trapdoor is shut, so he can't hear.
All right, what kind of check would that be? We'll say investigation.
Could I maybe do sleight of hand, because I know where the floorboard was that he creaked, but maybe being able to get it up without making too much noise that would alert him that I'm rummaging through things.
Yeah, if that's the method, then sleight of hand or stealth, either or.
You said sleight of hand or stealth. Either of them will be a 26.
Either of them? Alright. Jesus Christ! Alright.
I got a nat 20 on it.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, you succeed. So, you go to the floorboard, and I'd say the easiest way to do this would be with your dagger, you pry up one of the nails that was holding it down, and you do the same to another nail, and then you pull the board up without making a sound, and this is what you see. You take one of the candles from the wall and you hold it into the hole. You find, first of all, a 9-foot tall corpse with a hole right through the chest the size of a bowling ball. Next to it, you find a rusted rifle. It seems to be about the same size as the rifle that the bailiff was carrying during your fight, but it lies next to the corpse, completely rusted and unusable. Next to that, you find a few more skeletons. 3 or 4. If you gave a medical check, you could determine perhaps like gender, age, or time since the death. But these are skeletons that still have a little bit of meat, hair, and skin on the bones.
Yeah, I'll do a medicine check.
All right.
Would I know the 9-foot corpse to be the bailiff? Like bailiff, one of the bailiff's bodies?
Absolutely.
For medicine, that's gonna be a 17.
17. You can determine that these, first off, the corpses are mostly male. Second off, there are several breaks in the bones, which can lead you to determine that these people were probably killed. In one of the skeletons, you can even see that there is a small crack, a small hole in one side of it, and then a giant hole in the opposite side, which you can determine to be a gunshot wound.
In the skull?
In the skeleton's skull, yes. And these have probably been dead a month, 2 months, month and a half, something in that range. And you find one more thing. You find a crate with a lock on it. It's not that big. I'd say that it's about the size of it's about a foot long, 6 inches deep, and 4 inches tall. It's made out of a not ornate wood. This is a very shoddily created piece of carpentry.
Could I try to lockpick it with... I'm assuming I probably have pins in my hair, like pulling out one of those, since I'm assuming my dagger will be a little too big. If not, I'll always ask Aaron to work on it later.
Yeah, if you have thieves' tools, you'd be able to do it without disadvantage, but if you're doing it with pins, you'd be using your sleight of hand and disadvantage.
Yeah, I don't have thieves' tools, so I'll just do it at disadvantage right now.
Gotcha.
So not 20 for the first one.
Jesus Christ.
And a 15 for the second one for 21.
Yeah, that gets it. You take the pins, get all up in there, pushing pins around, all of that such. And eventually the lock clicks, the deadbolt comes off, and you slide it open. And inside of it, you see 2 bundles of dynamite, about 4 jars of a clear liquid that smells very distinctly of moonshine. And
you said 4 jars of it?
Yeah, 4 jars of moonshine. A bore-barreled pistol, so like a large pistol that shoots a heavy ball out of it. And a sheet of paper. The paper's rolled up and tied with a string in the middle.
Can I read what's on the paper?
Absolutely. You undo the paper, you pull it out, and the paper is maps and plans for an attack. These are plans for during a certain sermon or ceremony in the town square. You can see it's the town square outside of the cathedral. You can see marked on this hand-drawn map where the high priest would sit, where Malachi might be. The paper gives the distinction that he does not show up to every one of the services. And it shows in different colored ink. We'll say it's like red ink for potentially hostile people, and then blue ink for what he would consider his allies. And in this blue ink, there are 5 bodies drawn in the crowd. Not dead bodies, but like standing bodies. And each of them have a list of supplies under them. One of the people has a list, and it says dynamite, rope, pistol. Another person, firebombs, club, and nets. And it gives that sort of description for all of the blue characters that are drawn in the crowd. And it sort of gives off the impression that these are plans for a terrorist attack at one of the sermons.
Do I get the feeling that this is like a plan that they had previously tried and then they abandoned, or do I get the feeling that this is a future attack that they have planned and are currently planning to carry out?
Roll me an investigation.
So that's just gonna be a 12.
Alright. You're not sure, but seeing as how all of the explosives that are mentioned in the plan, such as dynamite, moonshine, if you tally those up, they are in this box. So like, there's only two mentions of dynamite in the plans, and there's only 2 mentions of firebombs in the plans, or 4 mentions of firebombs in the plans. So you can presume this to be plans for a violent resistance attack. The plans also show placements of where guards may or may not be.
I'm gonna tuck it away, just the leather.
Mhm.
But would I probably have like a scrap piece of paper in my bag, just like that I could roll up and make it look the same?
Yeah, if you don't have it in your inventory, yeah, we can say that you have one in your bag. It's not going to look
Or like
as,
pretty easy to find.
Yeah, we can just say that you have one of those. It's not going to look as aged as this piece of paper, but maybe you won't notice.
Yeah, I'm just gonna tuck it into like the bodice of my corset, and I'll roll up my piece of paper, and, like tie it like it was the original paper, and I'm just gonna put everything back where it was.
All right. As you do
and, like,
that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll just nail down everything that was there, and I'll go back upstairs. But I'm gonna go outside, but I'll let them catch up on what they're doing.
All right. So as that was happening downstairs, Adrian and Aaron Knight, what were y'all doing upstairs?
Well, while they were downstairs real quick, I'm gonna walk up to Adrian. Adrian, are you alright? Noticed you had a little back in the cart, you were a little upset.
Yes, I don't like. You got me on a very specific thing that I never thought somebody would do, but I have a thing about being forcibly put to sleep. Never thought that would happen again. So it was a lot for me. Opened something very deep inside that has a lot of pain associated with it. So I was not very happy about that.
Question for DM.
Absolutely.
I can't find it in the spell itself, but would she know it was me who casted it?
That is, I think we rolled for that at the time, and she did not know it was you, but she had rolled I think at the time she had rolled a perception check. She did not find out that it was you, but she did know that she was magically induced into a coma.
Perfect.
But
Good.
it's also sort of, who else would?
Perfect. Right. I'm very sorry. Gotta keep an eye on Mel.
you?
No. I'm just saying, I think I saw Mel do it. As you know, I don't really. My magic is all parlor tricks, just wave and I pull out a card from my robe. It's just more parlor tricks than anything else. Just, sleight of hand parlor tricks kind of a thing. And yeah, I'll give you a deception check. What's up?
I need a deception check, I need an insight check, and make it snappy. What in the world?
You guys better finish this convo before Mel gets upstairs, or else she's gonna be like, "What are you guys talking about?"
These scenes only last as long as the plot and the story need them. So this
27.
conversation will probably just end right before you show back up.
Yeah, no, I did not beat that.
All right.
So I don't really have any powerful magic in that sense. Just so, and Mel was the only one else who was awake. So I've been weary of her ever since we got here.
You make a good argument. I will not lie. That is a pretty good argument. For now, I will trust you on that. But I knew a little boy who went off to join the circus, and he also was skilled in parlor tricks like this. And to have skill like that, you need to be a little bit sneaky. So I'm going to trust you for now.
Well, I've
Because
never.
you make a good argument. I can't argue with it.
I've never
but-
denied the fact that I'm very sneaky, but I saw you two getting close, and I thought I should at least let you know.
I just worry for her because honestly, I don't know anybody really yet, and she's just a woman, and in any part of the world that is not always a safe thing, especially with her being passed out on the boat.
Oh yes, I understand that.
Being pasta on the boat.
But
On the boat. So I am a bit protective of her just because. Not that women are weaker than men. Not what I'm saying.
oh no,
But there
of
are
course
many
not.
more dangers for women in the world, and so I feel a need to protect people who can't necessarily protect themselves all the time.
Oh, I understand, but I just thought I'd let you know. Watch your back. But I'll make sure to keep an eye on both of you. Make sure you're okay. Not that you can't take care of yourself. We've established that you're probably far stronger than I am.
Oh, just a bit, and I've taken care of naughtier little boys than you. It is okay.
You flatter me.
I will say, I don't trust the guy who just took them down there. I hate making rash decisions. Rash decisions. I can talk. But I have a feeling, and I want to look around and see if there's a card table.
There is.
Don't ask me how or why, but I feel like I know this place, and I think there might be a dead guy at the card table. So, I mean, that is just sketchy in general.
Let's find out, shall we? I'll walk towards the card table, but as I'm walking, can I look around to the people that are here? I'm trying to see if I can find anyone who might stand out. I'm trying to, someone who's very sneaky and quiet. I'm trying to see if there's anyone who not only is weary of us for being new, but seems to be whispering either to his friends or someone's whispering to him about something. Just someone who might seem like a leader who seems more wary.
Roll a perception check.
Oh, fuck yeah. I only have a +1. 19.
19. So, you do not find a shortage of people who are glancing and whispering about you. Everyone in this town is wearing dark browns, black clothes, white clothes, like very muted colors. And then in comes y'all with Adam wearing white and yellow, Mel wearing like very deep, more fashionable colors, and then you coming in wearing like bright red. The eyes have not been off of you, and there are folks whispering pretty heavily about you. But you do find at the card table there is somebody who has more status on their clothes. They wear more gold on them, necklaces, bracelets, swag, if you will. And they are definitely stealing a few glances at you. And one detail I forgot to mention about this person is they are wearing all of this nice clothes and jewelry, and they are also completely desiccated from their skin. They are sitting at that table with skin that has completely lost all sense of moisture and has tightened onto their body. Their eyes almost pop out of their skull.
Oh my god, are they still alive? I thought that was a dead guy. I say quietly.
He is, he's mostly, what is it? He's mostly wrapped up in bandages as well, but his bandages are a lot more decorative than others. He wears them sort of like a scarf as a headband wrapped around his arms. They flow loosely, whereas other people's bandages are very tightly wrapped around the parts of their body.
I'm gonna go and I'm gonna set. I have the 2 beers that I bought. I'm gonna set one down in front of them, and then one at the table as I sit across from them.
Oh,
Is this seat taken?
Looks like it's taken by you.
Why, thank you. Now, what are you playing?
Texas Hold'em. Crap, there's no Texas. Poker.
There's no Texas yet.
They
Five
haven't
card
stolen
draw.
it from Mexico yet.
Yeah, they haven't.
Yeah.
No, he looks at you as you sit down and hand him that beer, and he says with a deep inhale, "We're playing 5 card draw."
5 card draw. Perfect. My type of game. Deal me in, but if you will, what's your name, sir?
He says, Sir Fergus.
Sir Fergus. It's
Sir-
a pleasure to meet you.
Yes.
You
Sir
can call
Fergus.
me Aaron.
Aaron. All right. He looks at the guy next to him, and the guy next to him is also wearing very nice clothes and jewelry, but he does not have skin that is desiccated, so that is missing all of its moisture. And so he shuffles the cards up and deals you in. I need you to roll a D100 for your luck.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I don't know if this is how you're supposed to do card games. This is always how I do card games. And this is just going to determine your hand. It'll be like other checks and stuff to determine how you play your hand.
Can I sit at the table with them?
You can
I
pull
don't
it.
think
Yeah, you can
It's
pull it.
not focusing.
It's not gonna focus. Oh yeah, the 10's right on top of it. I'm stupid. Yeah, that's a 70. That's the 1.
All right.
That's a
So-
7. 75.
75, absolutely.
I'm
right.
stupid.
You can, yes, you can pull a chair up. Are you trying to get dealt in as well, or are you just trying to watch?
Oh, I'm just watching the first round. I don't know how this works.
So,
I've never made a bet in my life. What is this?
all right. So, as the cards get dealt out, you get given 5 cards. Val, do you know how 5-card draw works?
Man, not really.
All right. So the way that it works is there's like 3 rounds of betting. Every round you get to change at most 4 of the cards in your hands, and you get new cards. And it's like you got to build the best hand for yourself. But
Okay.
that's not totally important. So, the fella dealing the cards, he is. I'm gonna like flesh him out a little bit more. He's wearing a white shirt with the button-up sleeves rolled up and a black vest over it, and he's also got himself on a like not a totally like a monocle, but like a chain that goes like from his shirt pocket up across his face into his ear,
Mhm.
and it is a gold chain. And so he sits down, he shuffles the cards, and he snorts at you, and he deals out all of your cards. And so
Mhm.
I just want you to make me. How do you want to play this game? Are you trying to like be? Are you a deceptive poker player, or are you an intimidative poker player?
At this right now, I'm kind of trying to gauge them more than anything.
Absolutely.
So I'm just gonna be not intimidative.
Alright.
Just kind of like watching.
Yeah. Just-
Um.
Or if you're proficient in playing cards, you could also roll me a check for that.
Oh, you know I am.
All right. Roll playing card check.
What is this? What am I rolling?
Typically charisma. So it's like
Charisma.
charisma plus your proficiency modifier.
That was my proficiency. So that would be a +5. That's gonna be a 20, a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. All right. So the information that you get, like as you play the game, everybody's sort of being cautious around each other. They're all new people. As you play, the other 3 at the table, who are also more high society looking members, they are like looking at each other. They're shooting the shit. They're talking to each other. And they're giving you like strange glances every now and then, and every time you put a bet in. But it gets to the last 3 rounds of the game, and you end up getting a flush of diamonds. And as you throw the cards down, you see that you have the better hand than everybody. Add 1 gold to your inventory.
Oh hell yeah!
You win the hand, and Sir Fergus looks at you and he says, "Looks like someone got lucky."
Oh yes, beginner's luck and all. Tell me, gentlemen, as he's shuffling for the next round,
Mhm.
what is it that you all do here in the city?
The fella shuffling the cards, he like takes like a big swallow in his mouth and he spits on the ground and he says, "I'm a banker." It goes to
Thank
the next person on the table, and she is a lady with nice jewelry on, but she's also dressed in these high society, like masculine high society clothes. And
Mhm.
she looks at you and she says, "Clerical work, magistries." And it gets to Sir Fergus, and he just looks at you and takes a big sip of his beer, and he grins. Ah, noble landowner, philanthropist.
Noble. So I take it you must be very acquainted with the high priest.
Oh, I'm quite important, yes.
Uh,
Could
You say you
Adrian, what do
know-
deal
you...
me in?
Pardon?
This round, I saw one round. Could you deal me in with this one?
Absolutely.
Sorry.
You are dealt into this one.
Okay.
So what were you saying?
would you say you know him personally? The priest.
The priest. I brushed elbows, perhaps, but I don't really like who's asking.
Oh, excuse me.
A lot of people. They're pretty tense. Some would even say they're alert. That big old call went out. People have
What's
been on
call?
edge. Ooh, deception.
Don't fail me now. I do have a high plus. Come on.
Fail him now, fail him now.
Come on. Natural 20, baby.
Damn.
I
Damn,
have to see it.
alright.
These dice are so hard to look at, by the way, but they're so pretty. They're my little skull dice.
He looks at you and he says he believes you. He's like, huh. You're more mundane than I thought you were.
I'm a simple circus man.
Well, there's been big talk around the town. Moral of the story, people are on edge. So, I see some clowns like you walk in. I'm a little on edge as well.
Isn't that why you're here? Take the edge off.
Yeah, indeed it is. The hand gets dealt out. Everybody roll your luck checks. So, just a D100 to see your luck compared to the other players' lucks.
89.
18. Ooh, hot damn.
I am hot today.
Alright.
This is my shit.
As your cards get dealt out, you get your 5 cards, and you pick up the 5 of them, and you look up at them. You have 2 aces and 3 8s. And now, to a person who's not deep into the card world, that's just a good hand. But you've played a lot of cards. You've been in this scenario before. Aces and 8s is the dead man's hand.
Mm-hmm.
The dealer, after he gives you the cards, he looks at you and he gives you a big toothy grin. He's got like a gold tooth on his canine. And they just continue playing. Adrian, what was your luck check?
20.
20? Hey, you get some alright stuff.
100? Yeah.
Damn.
Hey, you get some alright stuff. It's like, there's a king in there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But, so, do y'all just play this round like normal?
I'm going to play up to the third. There's 5 rounds, you said, right?
There's 3 rounds.
3 rounds, okay.
Three
And
rounds,
still-
5 cards.
I'm going to play up to the second round, but I'm going to look at everyone's... I'm trying to find everyone's tell, but at the second round, I'm going to fold.
Absolutely. Adam, at this point, you would be walking out of the cellar.
Mhm.
So you walk out and you see your friends like this. So if you plan on folding, Adrian, can you roll me a charisma check? And if you're proficient in playing cards, you can add your proficiency modifier.
Can I try intimidating them into thinking I still have a good hand?
Sure.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Yeah, that's a good. All right. Yeah, absolutely. You intimidate them, and As Aaron folds, the rest of them seem to follow. They all fold as well. And this was a not as high of a betting round. You win 7 silver.
I said, "Woohoo! I'm winning."
Woohoo! Yippee! Yippee! Hooray! Alright. So, at this point, Adam, you come out of the cellar. How do you react to seeing your teammates playing cards with what looks like walking zombies?
I'll walk over to the table. I'll like put my hand on Aaron's shoulder and be like, "Hey, so we're playing some poker."
Yeah, but it seems my luck has run out, so I was about to say a good night to my new friend.
All right. I've still got a bit more drinking to do, so while we wait for a party member to return, we can. I'm gonna drink for a bit, but you guys are welcome to do whatever you want. Let me know when we're ready to head out.
Okay. Will do. Sir Fergus, pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Yep. And I just go back to the bar and sit down with my half-finished beer.
Sir Fergus looks at you and he grins at you with some very yellowed teeth, and he says, "Be seeing you, friend."
I'm sure I will. And I'll excuse myself from the table.
Adrian, do you stay or do you take your money and run?
I stay. I'm like,
Alright.
I'm winning. I'm on a hot streak. I got this.
You have fully forgotten that you are in a very dangerous spot. You're just gamble. All right, roll
that
me another
question
luck check.
earlier really set the
Yeah.
scene.
All right, roll me another luck check.
94.
94. All right, you just get a winning hand. There's nothing you have to do to like change that. So you get the 94. You win another hand. We'll say you win about 5 silver this hand.
Hell yeah.
The people at the table, they look at you and the dealer says, "Your friend left. How about you follow? Take your winnings, and nobody has to lose anything."
Oh, I thought we were just having a nice game. But I understand. I'm winning too much.
Well, we're close friends. We were having close conversation.
Oh, sorry. I don't have a lot of close friends, so I don't really understand. But here you go. I'll give you some space. Goodbye.
All right. So, as you leave the table, Mel, you would be coming out of the trapdoor.
So, just getting bearings. Adam's back at the bar.
I think everyone would be back at the bar at this point.
Everyone would be? Okay. I'll just come up kind of behind them, or I'll guess I'll sit next to them. There is enough room for us to stay here tonight, so we don't have to try to find an inn, and I figured this might be a little safer. But I was going to go back out to the cart and get stuff ready to bring inside, little by little.
Sure, I'll help.
No, it's all good. I can get it by myself. It's not very heavy. I just have my bag, and I was going to grab the extra blankets we had, since I don't know how cold it will be in the cellar.
Gotcha. What's a food situation looking like?
I don't. I mean, I'm assuming he has food.
And you still got 45 feet of meat rope.
Well, it's closer to 150, but yeah,
That's
I've
a
got
lot.
plenty. Might be getting a little stale at this point though, but still edible, I guess.
It's only been a day.
No, he bought that back in
Oh, you
Portugal.
bought that? So it's
Yeah.
been like a week and a day.
It's been 2 weeks in a day.
2 weeks and a day. Is the bartender back?
Yes, he is.
Perfect. I'll walk up to the bartender, make sure it's just me or not. I know that Mel went to take the cart from some stuff. I'll lean in. You look like a man that knows stuff.
Yeah, I know lots of things. I told a lot of your friends the things that I know.
Perfect. I'm sure they'll brief me on it later. But I have a question for you.
Yeah.
And I reach into my coat and just take out like a little piece of paper. Sure, I have something to write on. And what can you tell me about this name? And I write Billfold on it.
Rolling a history check for our friend here. All right. He says Bofo. I'm gonna roll an insight check for him as well.
He knows not to say the name.
He says, seems Alexandrian in nature, Western Alexandrian. I don't know. It's hard to remember.
Insight check.
Roll one.
I feel like he's holding back. Are you holding back, sir? 14? Depends on what I get from this. Do I get anything from 14?
Do you ask him if he's holding back?
No, not yet.
Okay. A 14?
Mm-hmm.
You're not sure, but everybody has a price.
Mm-hmm. That's what I thought. I'm not gonna ask if he's holding back. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the gold that I just won at the table, and I put it in the bar, and just place my hand on top of it. I'm sure you know a little bit more than you let on.
I've seen your party throw the money around. You have more. You have a lot more.
Well, it might. Information first. I know how valuable information
Make a dexterity
is.
saving throw.
Oh, shit! I should be good at those. Yes, I am. I have, okay, 17.
17? Alright.
I didn't roll great, but I have a +8.
Let me roll for him. Alright. So with the 17, he reaches out. He flicks the coin to the side, and he grabs the front of your collar, and he goes to slam you on the bar, but you're very quickly able to, like, catch yourself and not have a brief head trauma. But he does, like, lean in and whisper, just lie down. Nobody has to look at this. Put your head on the bar, and you feel like a little bit of metal touching your neck.
Karma's a bitch.
Let's not be hasty, sir.
Oh, this is not tasty. This is calculated. Look,
So you do know more than you lead on.
I know everything.
Fine.
But
And I'll just lean in. I'll lean in carefully, just kind of following his lead.
Mhm.
But I'll also drop 10 gold on the bar.
there are some questions you don't want to know the answer to. You can take your money back.
I think I want to know the answer to this question. It is very important, sir. You can trust me.
That was a nice girl. She treated me well. She treated me with manners. 10 gold. That's the price I gave for my arm. Mayhaps. It's busy in here. Bring the money back later. We'll have a chat.
Sounds good. But
But
keep
don't
it
go
for
throwing
now
that.
as insurance, and if you could please take this metal object off my neck.
You feel the cold pressure move off of you, and he says, "Be careful about what names you throw around and what enemies you make, boy."
That's the reason I didn't say it. I'm a little smarter than I lead on. But thank you, sir. We will speak later.
So do you want him to take the gold now?
Yeah, he can take the gold now.
Right. He takes the gold now. He removes the pressure from your neck, and he leans back up, and he like gives a chuckle, and he says, "Oh, that was such a good one, my friends. How about another beer?"
Please, thank you. Just laugh as well.
He pours you another beer and hands it to you, and the hairs on the back of your neck stand up.
Mm-hmm.
He hands you the beer, and you look into the glass, and there is a reflection behind you. You see Mel opening back the door with her bag at the beginning of the bar. She's not like right behind you, but when she opens the door, there is a hooded figure with antlers coming out of the hood. The bar doors open, they swing back closed, and as they open again, the figure disappears. You look around, and you see right next to you on the bar, there is the figure in a green hood with a large set of antlers coming out of the hood. You cannot make out the face. They're sitting next to you in the bar, and they're rolling a coin over their knuckles. You get a primordial sense to call heads or tails.
Ooh. I get a little bit closer. You said he's right next to me. And
Right
I'll
next
just
to
wait.
you.
I'll sit down, not even looking at him, and I'll just whisper, "Tails."
The coin flips. The coin flips, it goes into the air. As the coin is spinning in the air, it feels like time almost stops. You have full seconds to think about what had happened, and by the time it lands, that is a tails.
Yes. Oh shit! My heart's actually beating really fast.
You catch yourself a vision. You get the sense that you're in a room, a cold room. This room is chilled with ice. There is that same sense of moisture in the air that you feel when you walk into a freezer. In this room, you look around and you find someone with a doctor's coat on. The white coat, the shoes, the pants, everything. The stethoscope even around their neck. And you see this doctor pulling apart a 4-foot-tall skeleton. And he's yanking the bones off of the torso. He's pulling the ribs off and throwing them into a separate pile. And he removes the skull from the skeleton and throws it into a barrel. And the rest of the bones are thrown into a large vat of green liquid. At that point, your vision ends. You're back at the bar. Mela is sitting in the seat where the figure was. So, party chilling at the bar. What are y'all talking about?
I've just gotten back inside.
So I was just sitting down the bar for that whole interaction, right?
Absolutely.
All right. I'm gonna slide over to Aaron. I'm just gonna say, like, so what were you talking about with the barkeep there?
I'm just trying to gather information, like I said we should do.
Well, it looked like you two almost had a bit of a scuffle, so something must have come up.
Oh,
We didn't have that problem with our questions, so what were you asking?
I asked the wrong questions, I assume. But I guess you can debrief me later on what he told you.
All right. We'll talk about it when we get back.
Yeah, I don't think we should talk about it around
No,
so
much
many listening ears.
It's much
Would-
too open here.
Would Aaron have put the piece of paper away? Because I'm sitting next to you now.
If he didn't take it, the barkeep didn't take it, I would have put it in my pocket.
Okay. Like as soon as the interaction was done?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to see if I would have noticed it, but if you had put it away before I walked inside, because I would have probably gone downstairs to drop stuff off and then came back up, so.
Well, it's getting a bit late, and I think we've all had a long day. Perhaps we should bed down.
Maybe we should. I'm gonna go out and try to fetch us some food for the night. So I'm gonna be heading down to the bazaar. What does everyone else want to do?
Oh, I thought we were gonna check and see if the tavern had any food. Because I thought all we had asked about were drinks.
Oh, they probably do. Sure. I'll hunt us down some food. Does anybody have any preferences? Or
Well, when we, first. Should I say that out loud? You know what? I won't say anything.
Anything other than human is fine with me.
it's understood. Hey, barkeep, and I signal down to him.
Yeah.
Y'all got any food here?
Yes, we do. Mostly dried salted meats, grain, breads.
No. It's just my style. Can you just get together enough to feed the four of us and just get it ready for me, sack or something like that? We can bring it downstairs. We're quite hungry, so don't skimp too much if you can.
Yeah, 2 silver. And he starts like going into the back and preparing a not a sack but a platter, but he's treating y'all somewhat well. He starts preparing a little platter. He puts a couple loaves of bread on it along with a few pieces of salted meat, and he also goes over to a smoker that he has on an outside wall, and he opens up a little metal door and he pulls out like smoked meats that he's been cooking in there, and he places them on the plate as well. He moves back towards you all, and he says, he sets the plate down, and it's enough to feed the 4 of you.
All right. And I pass him the silver. I take my share of the food and I walk it downstairs to the cellar.
All right.
I probably already would have headed downstairs to show Adrian and Aaron how to get down there.
So the lot of you all head downstairs with some food and get ready for a long rest and conversation? All right. So you all move down to the cellar. The cellar is still lit with those candles, but make one of you make a perception check, just real quick for me.
23.
23. You see that the candles up there have maybe 5 or so hours left to them. They will not last a whole long rest.
Okay.
Just something to think about.
Check my.
So while you do that,
inventory.
are you debriefing them, Mel?
Yeah. So I'll explain everything about Malachi seems to be in a good relationship with the bailiff, and that from what I've gathered, it seems like he might also have a simulacrum where he can come back to life after being killed. And that about the crucifixions, and in a much quieter tone, I'll tell them about the children who have been going missing. When we were learning about, or I guess when I was reading the board about the different cities, each providing something, which item was Catskin contributing to? Because I have the coagulated blood, philosopher's stones, liquid zealotry, raw good and evil, and fear concentrated.
The zealotry.
Okay. And that's like bravery, right?
Zealotry is devotion. Zealotry is an intense belief in something.
It's like fanaticism.
I won't tell them about the child skeleton in Malachi's room, though, because it seemed like the bartender was pretty shaken up about even telling us that, like Adam and I. So I won't tell them about that.
So wait, are you telling us about how any of the kids are going missing, or just that they don't crucify kids?
I would say that the children are going missing and that they're going to the cathedral, but people don't know why or how. The marshal here in this town was apparently trained by the bailiff, so he's almost as dangerous.
Well, that's
Adrian
something to look out
full
for.
on- Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm good. You're done.
I'm gonna say Adrian is full on not listening anymore. Just zoned out.
Adrian, are you okay? I know it's a lot.
Oh, sorry. What was the question?
I was just asking if you are okay. You have a faraway look in your eyes. But I know that this is gruesome, and especially now that children are involved.
The gruesome doesn't bother me that much. But the children, really, we tomorrow, because we do need to get our strength back. We need to do something about that. Because if we don't, I might just go do it.
Bartender said that the high priest would be here tomorrow night to play poker with his friends. So I figured maybe we could either kill the high priest or capture him and see if we could get some information on what is happening with the kids.
Good. Can I have... If we get a chance to talk to this guy, I'd like to take him to a very private room and have a little chat with him.
I think we can arrange that.
Poker game, you say? Wonder if there's a way that we could get in. At least me, I'm pretty good at card games. Just
if
something
you stick
to
out like a sore thumb.
Well, it's more about deception. There's a reason to the attire, you know. It's not just because I want to. Misdirection and all. Even if I'm not good at card games, I am good at something, and I'll pull out like 2 cards from my sleeve and then put them back. I could maybe get him to wager something beyond just money. Information or something else.
It might be dangerous though. The barkeeper said that he usually has a few deputies with him with firearms. He might get suspicious.
I live for danger. But again, we're working in a group, so it's my first time. If you don't believe this to be a good idea, if anyone has any better ideas.
I mean, not to say I don't enjoy the thought of you getting shot. I'm just saying it may not be the best for the group.
I mean, we could all... The rest of us could be scattered throughout the bar, so that way, if something were to go south...
They made it sound like they emptied the bar out to be able to have this game in private.
You could hide down here.
Yeah.
We could have a code word.
Pineapple.
Pineapple words?
Royal flush.
No, that's gonna come out a lot. Just trust me. It's something that's... What's a word that's not about to come up? Question for DM. Whoever
I'm
has
the
answer for
DM.
me.
I can answer.
Does the message cantrip, do I need to be seeing the person?
Let's take a look, shall we?
It says I point your finger towards a creature within range and whisper a message. It doesn't say I need to see them.
That is actually facts. I'll allow that.
Awesome. Perfect.
Whom are thou messaging?
No, no one. I just wanted to know for later use. I'll just say like if they are too far away and if there's no way for you guys to hear down here, there is a way for me to still get a code word or a message out to you in case things go south.
I mean, if we're all down here, you should be able to point in our general direction. It should hit at least one of us.
Correct. That's my thought process. But I think that this would be a good idea. At least just to get close. Maybe get him to have some sort of false trust in me. I don't know. We'll see what I can do.
All right.
But unless anyone has any better ideas, I'm all ears.
Guess we have our plan.
So are y'all ready to take a long rest?
Yes.
Sure.
Have you told us about the candle situation, Mr. Adam?
No, I haven't. So these candles look like they'll only last for a few more hours, so we're gonna have to figure out a light situation for the night. We know how dangerous that can be, so I was thinking,
How long are they going to last, you said?
what now? About 5 hours or so, somewhere around there. So, if we've got anything we can light, if we sleep in shifts, we should be able to keep the light up for the night. But which I was thinking we should anyway. You know, we had a lot of eyes on us today, so we got to be careful. We never know who may or may not be, you know, working for the leader here, and they do know where we're sleeping tonight, so.
Correct.
Question. Is it how many candles are down there, and is it that like say there's 5 candles lit, are they gonna last like a few hours, or does each one?
So there's 2 candles lit currently, and that gives the room a dim light. And both of those candles have about 5 hours left on them.
So if we like blew one out for right now, could have 10 hours.
Does it have to be bright if I have my like holy ground up?
Your holy ground does not create light in a sense. Your holy ground keeps.
I know it doesn't create light, but would it keep like the crazy magic out?
That is for you to find out.
Shit.
I will say, roll a religion check. Roll a religion check.
All right. 14.
14. You haven't experienced a darkness turning people mad before, but what you have experienced is situations where you've been in dire need of a rest or safety, but you're in hostile territory, so you throw up your sanctuary. Supernatural creatures cannot get through your sanctuary. Like, let's say you had a ghost and you started your sanctuary and you trapped the ghost inside. It would be stuck in there, it couldn't leave. But it also means it can't get out. It creates impenetrable walls for undead creatures, basically. But whether Umbral Madness counts as undead or just a feat of nature, you are not sure.
Right, so maybe that wouldn't be the safest.
You should still cast it, or create your spot nonetheless.
Yeah, I will.
Does this essentially create like hallowed ground?
Yeah, this is hallowed ground, but hallowed ground is one resource that protects from one bad thing, and light is another resource that protects from another bad thing. There's a lot of bad things on Umbral Island.
Maybe it would be beneficial for us to go out and retrieve something to keep light up for the rest of the night, since we don't have anything with us currently.
Well, if we're going to sleep in shifts, which I believe we should, I do have these. I have 5 candles on me. They each burn for about an hour. I guess when the one gets close to dimming, you can just light the other one. Whoever will be awake during that time.
Alright, that sounds like a good solution. Are all you okay with that?
Sounds good.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Alright, well, we can start the long rest. Everybody?
Wait.
Yep.
I also have a hooded lantern. I'm a fucking idiot. I also have a hooded lantern, which is a lot better because it burns for 6 hours. I do also have the oil for it. The hooded lantern will burn for 6 hours, so you can turn it out once they're getting low, and it should be fine. Whoever's awake when the candles seem to start burning low. But I'll leave it out. I'll leave the oil out as well, so it's there, and I think we're good. I'll go to sleep.
Alright, all of you can apply a long rest. And
What shift are we? Oh, are you wanting us to go through watches?
I figured y'all were gonna go through watches.
Okay.
You just gonna skip it? Cool.
I was
cool
gonna
with
say
that.
just everybody roll a perception check during their watch.
Perfect.
So we'll start with you, Mr. Knight, since you have the lantern. Roll a perception check.
Sure. 15.
The only thing that you hear is the sound of commotion and debauchery above you.
Okay.
Next up, we're gonna go with Mr. Magus.
22.
22. Same deal for you. Next up, on your watch, Mel. What's your perception?
8.
8. You don't hear too much on. You don't really hear too much on your watch. Is there anything else that you do while awake?
No, I guess I'll just kind of look at everyone, study their features.
So,
And what was that?
now you can go ahead. This is after. So.
And Adrian. All right. Nothing major happens during yours either. It's just the sound of the bar above you. So, after the long rest, all of you awake.
And everyone gets 9 temporary HP because of my celestial resistance.
Alright. So all of you apply a long rest and give yourself those temp HPs.
How many was it?
9 for all of you guys and 14 for me. And it's plus 14, so if you had any before that, you can keep that.
Alright, so
They disappear with a long rest.
a quick little pardon.
Oh, temp HP usually go with a long rest, right? So we would only have the 9.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, just the 9.
Upon y'all's wake, what is the move?
I'm gonna go upstairs real quick and see if everything has died down.
Alright. As you head up there, you go upstairs, and it's still the same light level outside and about the same amount of people in the bar. These people don't have a day-night cycle like we do. They sleep when they're tired, and everybody's sleep schedule's different.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a whole new group of faces. Maybe it's a little bit less than before, but the barkeeper is still the same guy, and he is still working the bar.
Okay. I'll just go up to the barkeep.
What do you do?
I'll have another little round of what you gave me last night. Doesn't seem like this place is awfully quiet very often, is it?
No, sir. The people here, they do not sleep in unison, which makes running a business very uncomfortable, but we get through it. So you're asking for a beer?
Sure.
Yep. Yeah, you're given a beer. You feel pretty woozy from last night, so you are given a beer. What does the rest of everyone do?
I want to check on Adrienne because I just know she seemed pretty shaken up from yesterday. So like before I change out of kind of like my sleeping clothes, I'll just kind of like wrap my cloak around me and sit next to her. Are you doing all right? I know you seemed pretty startled when you woke up from Aaron's spell, and I wanted to make sure that you were okay from that. And I know you seemed pretty affected by the mention of kids going missing.
Spell. He told me that it was your spell.
No,
This is
it
great. No, seriously, which one of you was it?
I didn't do it.
Insight
Adrian,
check.
I've known you for a few. You can insight check me. Can I like purposely fail the insight check so she knows like if I'm telling the truth or not?
It'd be
Or do I-
persuasion instead of
Okay.
deception. Well, or you can just roll a persuasion check and she can choose whether or not to believe you.
That's a dirty 20.
She's quite persuasive.
You also are quite persuasive. I'm very confused now. We are going to have a three-way chat sometime because both of you very
That's
persuasive.
That's not the type of three-way I thought you were going to talk about.
Oh no,
Sorry.
no. At least not on this island. I don't want to do anything here that even gets close to that. Just because this place is kind of yucky.
STDs
Ew.
everywhere.
Nothing personal.
They're in the air.
It is in the air. It is just everywhere.
You know what Aaron did to me once you had fallen asleep?
No, I don't know any. I was asleep. Don't know a thing.
I was just looking around and he came up behind me and put a dagger against my throat. I can see why he would have wanted you asleep. So he didn't have any witnesses to the conversation we had.
Yeah, and we're going. I don't disbelieve you. Don't get me wrong, but we're going to have a three-way chat at some point. Because I am quite confused.
To be fair, I don't really like Aaron either, so.
Oh, I completely forgot that Adam was awake. Oh, Adam, I didn't know that you were also awake. But I'm glad to know that somebody shares the same sentiment and distrust as I do.
Well, last night, while we were at the bar, Aaron was talking to the barkeeper. I don't know what he asked him, but it seemed like it made the bartender a bit angry. So, and we didn't have that problem asking him questions last night. He seemed pretty open to us because we were speaking for his cause. But whatever Aaron asked him, seemed like it sparked something. It made him quite angry. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I feel about Aaron.
Something just doesn't sit right with me about him. I mean, he's a good asset to have, and he seems ruthless in all the right ways that we need. But I don't know if he will completely follow our objective all the way through. I think he might just be here because he can kill. I don't want to see either of you get hurt.
I'll be fine, but I'll keep an eye on him. Don't worry. Anyways, I was thinking. I had an idea. So yesterday when we came in here, we had a lot of eyes on us. Obviously everyone could tell that we were not from around here, and maybe if we're gonna be here for a little while, maybe I should go into town and find us some clothes so that we can kind of fit the part here a little bit better than what we do right now. Because if we're trying to do anything, undercover, I doubt we're going to get much done in what we're wearing currently.
I mean, as much as I will miss my tresses, I think you are right. We just attract too many eyes. And it will be easier to hide from people associated with the bailiff if we're not wearing the same clothes that we had on when we, fucked him over, as people would say.
Right. So, I guess I'll head into town. I'll go see if I can find us some clothes to wear, and I'll be back in a little while.
You want someone to escort you? Are you okay going by yourself?
I'll be fine on my own. Don't worry.
Need some,
If one of you want to go, it's fine.
Need some money?
Oh, I've got money. Don't worry about that.
Ooh. Outfit changes.
Makeovers! I will leave you to it, but I think I will go upstairs with you, unless Etienne, you would like to speak a little more privately, or if you would like to go upstairs as well.
I'm going to do a little bit of writing first. Then I will come upstairs.
Sounds wonderful. Then I guess I will go upstairs with Adam.
Adrian, give us the cliff notes of, or the audience, the cliff notes of what you write.
No, not again, please. Can't do it. No more. Gotta help. God, I'm hungry.
All right, so Adam and Mel. None of you see that. That is strictly for the audience's favor. But so you guys get up top. Adam, do you head off and start trying to find some sick ass cowboy clothes for everybody?
Yes, I do.
If I see Adam walk out, I'm gonna follow him.
Oh, did you already have your conversation with the barkeep
Yes.
that you were gonna have? Okay.
Well, it's too full to have it, so I'll do it later. But if I see Adam start to walk towards the entrance, I'm just gonna walk up to him and be like, Adam, put my arm around him. Let's where you headed? And I'll follow him out the bar.
Not that you need to know, since you seem so attached to that jacket of yours, but I'm going to buy some clothes for the group so we can not stand out as much as we are.
You're right. I am. Sadly, I apologize. I can still stick to the shadows when need be. Don't worry. But listen. You seem like a man who knows a thing or two about a thing or two. Am I wrong?
Think you got me pinned down right there? Yeah.
Do you know anything about a hooded figure with antlers?
Adam, roll a religion check. Even if you get this wrong, you being a cleric, you would have run into something like this, so you will get a little bit of something. So, what do you get on your check?
13 plus 19.
19. All right, hell yeah. All right, so, you know from your time in the religious industry, which is not very much, you tend to stick to your own sort of thing, but you know of general images of what certain gods and goddesses look like. Such as the god Clarion, which you would have a more intimate knowledge with. The god Clarion typically portrays himself as like a young man with a scythe, sort of like a young, handsome Grim Reaper. But the description that you're given, a hooded figure with antlers, you're not sure about the hooded part, but you know that the god Vazvikaz, which is the god of nature, is typically portrayed as a kind of any animal, but with a set of 20-point antlers on it. So like you've seen them on coins in certain provinces as like a rabbit with this many antlers, or
Right.
you've seen tapestries in certain churches where there might be a deer or a bear or any sort of animal that has just a large set of antlers on it.
Have I possibly heard like stories of like even if it's like in books, like stories of like them like bestowing like visions or like communication or anything like that?
So the main pantheon of gods is not something that people run into often. Even clerics don't ever get a full vision of them. But there have been stories, rumors, lies, or truths of people who they claim to have visions of these gods, sit down with them, see them in the physical space, and that's where these portrayals of them come from. So, just by nature of the people knowing what Vazvakaz would portray themselves as, which is a creature with a lot of antlers, there have definitely been somebody before in the history of the world to have seen them before, or else we wouldn't know what the portrayal was. But there are no famous fairy tales.
Well, Aaron, it seems a little bit far-fetched. Why do you ask?
Hmm. You seem like the kind of man I can actually trust. I've had a weird vision last night, shortly after my conversation with the barkeep. I saw a figure moved with incredible speed 1 second outside of the bar, and the next, he was looming over me. All I saw was a green hood and antlers. I couldn't really make out anything else.
Were they large?
Very large.
Hmm. Well,
He tossed a coin into the air. I had some sort of premonition, I guess you could say, on whether I should call the coin in the air. To my luck, I called it correctly. He showed me a vision. A cold room. It's like I was standing in a cold room, almost like I could feel the shivers myself. There was a man there. He was wearing a doctor's coat, stethoscope, the whole 9 yards, as they would say. And seemed to be taking apart a 4 foot tall skeleton, which would kind of, if I'm not mistaken, fit into what you told us about the children going missing. Now you can choose not to believe me, Adam, but
no, I
I have
believe
no
you.
reason. I have no reason to make any of this up.
All right, so you had a vision,
Correct.
a creature, a hood with large antlers. Now, I've never had, I don't recognize anything from my studies about a hooded creature, but from what I can think of, if the portrayal is green and they have large antlers, it could be quite a powerful being. I would just be careful for now, and keep that vision in your mind. Um,
Good powerful or bad powerful?
I don't know yet. I've never
Let's not.
heard of anyone communing with such a being, so we don't know what they want or what they're doing with us yet. But based on how our lives have gone so far, it doesn't seem like many people like us have survived this far. So we've
Yeah,
just got to
so
be careful.
it's not every day that a person like me catches the eye of a powerful being like this.
Right.
Figured you would know
Well,
more than I had.
I'll tell you what. You keep that vision in your mind. If you see anything related to it, you let me know. But for now, I think we just need to keep it on the back burner, keep it in our minds, because I don't see any way of communing with this creature again at the moment, seeing as we know so little about it. But if you do have another vision, come to me, let me know. Maybe I can piece something together.
Oh, of course I will. And one last thing, and I'm going to take the paper that I showed the barkeep, and I'm going to hand it to him. Now, you asked me what I asked the barkeep yesterday. Like I said, I feel like I could trust you. I wasn't trying to hide it from you, but there were a lot of listening ears back at the bar. She's hiding something, and I know you heard it too. I'm just curious as to who we are acquainted with, is all.
Well, sure, this piques my curiosity a bit, but I'm a bit curious about you as well. We don't know
That's
where
all
you
right.
came from or how you got here. We knew that ship was coming down, but we don't know how it happened. So, as much as this is interesting to me, I'll be watching you too.
Would you like to know?
Would I like to know how your ship came down?
Yes.
Of course.
I was on that ship on accident. I didn't plan to be here, though I heard the call, much like all of you. I bedded down for a night, and I don't really have a home in Alexandria, so I put it in a random ship that I could find. When I woke up, the ship was in the middle of the ocean. They didn't see me, they didn't find me. I'm very good at hiding. However, I also listen well. The owners of that ship were smugglers. And not just drugs. If you think I'm a bad person, Adam, the people on that ship were far worse. I did what I had to do. In the scuffle, a gun might have been fired into the hull of the ship. I don't use guns. But I took out the crew because I don't agree with what they were doing. That is how I found myself near your ship.
So just for clarification, what exactly were they smuggling on that ship?
There was nothing there yet, but there was talks of it. People, Adam.
Right.
They were on their way to an island. Whether it was this island or another, but they were looking for what they called merchandise.
Right. Well, still. As crafty as you are, I'm more inclined. I'm not very inclined to believe you.
That's understandable.
And I still don't know where you're from. I still don't know exactly why you were on that ship in the first place. And I don't know what your intentions are here.
That's all understandable.
Because I'm still well in the belief that you charmed one of our party members already. And I'm not too fond of that. So like I said, I'll be keeping an eye on you. I'll be keeping an eye on her too. But just try not to do anything else. And we'll be fine.
Oh, of course. Seems we are stuck together one way or another, so I will try to behave.
Works for me. Now I'm gonna head out. I've gotta go find us some clothes. You can tag along if you like, but otherwise I'm gonna get going.
I have a little more information to try and dig up before tonight's poker game, so I'll let you be. If anything, if you need anything, if you could run into any trouble, well, I guess the code word is pineapple. And I'll walk back into the bar.
All right.
Alright.
So, Joe, do you want to handle the clothes thing as like you just get money and then everybody like sort of decides their ideal Western outfit, or
Yeah,
do you
and
want
then
to?
I'll bring it back. Yeah,
All
everybody
right.
can decide, and then that'll just be what I get.
Word. Clothes for everybody. You can get them near the bazaar district, so you won't have to stray too far. Clothes for everybody is going to be about 2 gold in total. From different tailors and such. Is there anything else that you do while you're out? Anything you look for?
What kind of weapons does everyone use
In the party or in
in
the
the
town?
party?
Uh, so what you've seen so far is Mel has a sword, Aaron uses daggers, and Adrian uses a giant scythe.
Could also probably assume that Mel has an assortment of daggers among her person, hiding under the many layers of her dress.
Every socialite lady does. That's just like common knowledge.
I'm just like imagining like the thigh holster where it's like they pull up the skirt of their dress and like rip a dagger out.
I don't know. I'd like to just go around the different bazaars and stuff and see if I can dig up any weapons with any like special properties or anything like that. If that happens to be something that exists around here.
Roll a investigation or perception check while I go on a spiel. So,
Okay.
typically, magic, as you know, has been outlawed, so there aren't going to be a whole lot of people selling magical weapons. But there are still people who make specialized orders and people who make things that are more notable. As you're walking around the bazaar district, what did you get on your check?
Doing dirty 20.
30-20. As you're walking around on your check, you walk past a store, and on this store, it is a sign that reads the name Blanc, with 2 firearms next to the name. You can imagine that this is a gunsmith.
Right. So
And this
I'll
is-
head
yeah.
inside.
Yeah, this is about the only weapon store that you find. You head inside, and you see a big burly man with, he's strong, he's facial haired, he's got his hat on, and he's currently machining away with tiny little, you know how sewing machines are powered by the little pedal on the ground? It's things of that nature, but he's machining away at metal with it. So you go into the sound of cutting metal. Do you make yourself known?
Yeah, I walked straight up to the big guy, the store owner.
Absolutely. He looks at you and he says, "Well, hello! Welcome! I ain't seen nothing like you before." And he stands up and he's about your height. And he puts a mean handshake on you. This is the first time that you've heard an American accent so far. And
Say,
Mhm.
where are you from?
From the New World, I came over here before the going got rough.
I can tell you weren't from around here. You sound nothing like the rest of the folk around here.
Oh, Alexandrian. They're from Alexandria. They're from they're from the Far East. They're from the African colonies. But me, I'm the only New World man in this city, and I do what us New Worlders do best. I make guns.
I can see that. So how'd you end up getting over here to this island?
Oh, when I was a younger man, about your age, I took myself on a boat. Wanted to take my skills, my craft of gunsmithing across the sea, introduce them Alexandrians into the art. Then I heard about this place down here, Umbral Island. I thought, well, if a bunch of crazies can move down here, I might as well. So, before the port shut down, of course, I moved my way down here. And, well, one could say that was a misplaced business venture.
Well, either way, your weapons look impressive.
Absolutely.
So anyway, you could show me to the, what's the strongest weapon you have?
Well, young
What's
man,
the big one?
the big man. All right. Big man with a big weapon. I can get a big man a big weapon. So he turns to the aisles of the store and he's walking you by. Most of these are like deer rifles, things of that nature, like hunting weapons. But he says like in a very low tone, I've got good hunting rifles. I've got good handguns. I've even got a few scatter weapons, blunderbusses and the like. But if you want the goods, the under the counter, are you good for it?
I'm good for it. And I slide him like 2 gold pieces.
Man. He takes you over to the behind the store, and he's like, I can tell you'd be into things of this nature. The way you walked in, I already heard stories of y'all's group. Now I don't want to say nothing, but there are rumors going around, so I'm gonna trust you a little bit. And he goes behind the counter of the store, and he presses a little button, and then a switch flips. And the counter flips over, and it was displaying like very classy, high-class weapons, and now it looks like weapons of mass destruction. There are full-on hand cannons that fire a shotgun blast. There are silver bullets, which are 100. You can assume are 100% outlawed. There are long rifles with telescopes on the top for better accuracy, but you see something, and you see something nice. There is a rifle with more than one barrel. There is a double-barreled rifle, which has a telescopic lens at the top of it. This is the first firearm that you've ever seen that can either fire more than one bullet at once or fire more than one bullet without having to reload. So this man is a visionary. And but also in there you see guns with bayonets on them and those like tri-tip bayonets that you can't really bandage up. You see a box with like paintings on it, and it has a bunch of different bullets in there, and the bullets all are different shades of colors, and the box just says surprises on them. And he says, does anything here tickle y'all fancy?
Right, so we're in like a hidden room, right?
This is he flipped a switch, and the his front counter like did sort of the prohibition like flip over, and it showed like his illegal merchandise. And as he did that, the curtains were drawn in the room.
Right, so do you happen to have anything, like snap my fingers and like some like sparks fly out? Like,
Oh, I got you something like that, sir. He says, now, I'm not that kind of guy myself, but I know a guy who knew a dead guy. But he wasn't always a dead guy. And he pulls out the little box called surprises, and he holds it up to you. And he says, now, I don't know too much about these. Personally, I ain't ever shot one. But here he goes. Each one of these bullets got a little trick in it. You catch my fancy.
oh shit.
Now, none of these are the same. Each bullet's got a different little trick in it. But, from what I paid for them, these are from some mighty fine tricks, if I do say so myself. Definitely enough to put your target in the ground.
Looks nice.
They are nice.
How much for the whole box?
The whole box. All right.
How much is
So-
in the box?
About 24 bullets.
Okay.
He says, well, I was going to sell these for 15 gold a pop. 15 times 24, that's a whole lot of math, right? But you're buying the whole thing? 240 gold. Little discount.
240.
And that's kind of money that would set me for life. All right. The average gun in this place, 5 silver. All right. Puts food on the table. Not a lot of people need to buy guns. Usually somebody buys one, they don't need another one. But you know, this kind of stuff I put a heavier price on. This is the kind of stuff that'll get me crucified. But with that kind of money, I'd be out of here.
How about we do half the box, throw in that big 2-barreled rifle in the back?
Ah, you want the dragon.
Oh, I like that name.
He goes to the rifle. He pulls it out, and it is a good-sized rifle, like a giant double-barreled, like, long rifle. And he hands it to you, and he says, now this bad girl right here, this is dangerous. There ain't anything like this in the world. Trust me, I've checked. So, you want half the box, this right here?
Absolutely.
We'll drop it down to. How about 200 flat?
What's for me?
He sticks a hand out there and he says, "Ooh, another happy customer!" And he gives your hand a big old shake. The way that these bullets are gonna work is you're gonna shoot them. You're gonna roll. You're gonna roll a die on the table. You got half of them. You're gonna roll a d12, and it's gonna be a random spell.
Shit. All right.
And the gun itself, I'll run you the stats for it after the session.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not going to be getting into combat, but it is like it's a weapon for sure. He gives you the merchandise, he takes your money, and he flips the bar back over, and he says, "Don't get me caught, because if you do, you're a dead man." He says that with his tongue firmly in his cheek.
Right.
Do you have any more business with Blanc the gunsmith?
No, I think I'll go ahead and head out. Start heading back with the clothes and the new weapon.
All right. As you head back, so Adrienne, Mel, and Adam, what were y'all doing in the bar whilst not Adam, Aaron? What were y'all doing in the bar whilst Adam was out shopping? So y'all had like an hour.
Would Adrian have come up before Aaron got back inside from talking with Adam, or would Aaron and I have had time alone at the bar, I'm assuming?
Let's say y'all have alone time.
Yeah, she would be, because Adrian would be down there. She's got a lot to write down.
I'll just be sitting at the bar, probably making small talk with the bartender, or letting him kind of just run and maybe just like people watching. Maybe I won't sit at the bar so I can have a better view of everyone.
There are
But-
also tables, yeah.
Yeah, I'll sit at a table, maybe like in the corner, and when Aaron walks in, I'm just gonna give him like a smirk and a knowing expression, but also so much hatred in my eyes because I know he lied to Adrienne.
I'll sit down across from you. Lucas could kill, darling. What's got you so worked up now?
Why did you lie to Adrienne?
What makes you think I lied?
Because you told her I was the one who cast that bloody spell on her.
No, it wasn't.
That's not
Have you
what she
seen
told me.
Have you seen me do magic?
No, but you're the only one who could have done it.
You don't know that. We're being watched.
Don't try to lie to me.
And why should I tell you the truth?
You don't have to, I already know the truth.
This would be a lot simpler if I could trust you.
But you can't, and I can't trust you. Trust me, I would love to slit your throat in the middle of the night.
I mean, I try to be a little forthcoming. I've told you one of my truths, one of my secrets, and you still refuse to tell me yours.
Well, maybe ask a direct question then.
I'll slam the paper on the table. What does this mean? You want it direct? Here's direct. What does this mean?
You know that board in Mr. Shelley's house? With all the information that your dumb little brain couldn't read? That name was on the top. It was a gamble, but I took it.
Insight check. Do I want to make you roll a 5?
Oh!
Or should I save it for later?
I forget you.
I'll save it. I feel like I'm gonna need it for that poker game.
I got a 13.
I rolled a 12 plus. What's my insight? Give me something. Plus 1, 13.
Oh
So
god.
meets it.
Makes
right?
makes it breaks it. You set the DC with your check, and then the insight roll met the DC.
I'm not lying. But I'm definitely not telling the whole truth.
Oh.
Okay. still. You're hiding something.
And you're hiding more.
I mean, same goes to you.
Why do
You
they
know
call you a
nothing.
demon?
Because of what I do for. I wish I wouldn't call it a living. More of a hobby. I killed people where I'm from. People that wouldn't have gotten justice otherwise. Or people that wouldn't be missed. Bad people, but people who held power in some way or other. And because I was never caught, instead of calling me a serial killer, they decided to call me a demon. No one knows it. No one knows who I am. But that's the name that they associated with these killings.
I'm going to. Is Aaron wearing a tie or just like the jacket and like a pirate shirt basically with like the strings?
It's a bolo tie. It's not a tie, it's like a bolo tie.
So, just to not draw suspicion from anyone, I'm not gonna do it roughly, but I'm gonna just like pull them by the tie and lean him down so I can whisper in his ear. Usually, when you assassinate people, it's better not to leave a trace of it so they don't know it happened in the first place. And I'll just push him back and stare at him.
Perhaps I like the hunt. Perhaps I like to be. Have people fear me.
Well,
Not
I guess we just agreed to keep disliking each other.
I guess so. But we have to work together.
Is that the end of y'all's conversation?
I believe so.
Adrian, before you head up the ladder, I need you to make a perception check. At the end of your writing.
14.
14. You smell, as you get up from your writing, something's not right. You smell something strange. You smell rust in the air. You're not sure where exactly it comes from, but it wasn't there before the luggage from the cart was moved into the basement.
Can I go and try and find where it is?
Yeah, roll an investigation or a perception, either or.
That's gonna be a 7.
7. You look it's easy to find and it's flat. So you look around. You have the scent in your air. You have the scent in your nose, and as you look through the bags, it's the largest object in your bags. You find the Leviathan rifle that the judge once used, or not the judge, that the bailiff was using. And you find the Leviathan rifle, but something's off. You picked this up 10 hours ago, and all of a sudden, it's completely rusted and atrophied.
Kind of like shake it around, like,
Yeah,
hello.
rust falls off, and you hear mechanical bits inside clanking about.
Is there like a clip or like any type of like bullet holding
Yeah.
area that I could like take out and kind of look at?
Yeah, so it is break action. So like you pull it down like one would do like a double barrel shotgun, and you pull it down and
Yeah.
you look through it, and there's no bullet inside. It's just rusty, dusty, and falling apart at the seams.
Well, that's weird. I guess either when I go up or when they come back down, I'm be like, "Hey guys, anyone know anything about this?"
You can take it up and start a conversation about it, and that'll probably be our last scene.
Well, I'll probably leave it down here because I don't know if bringing it upstairs for patrons to see would be great. But I guess who's like the first person of the group that I see like when I walk up?
When you walk up, you see that Mel and Aaron are at a booth together in the corner.
And I'm gonna walk up to them. Hey guys, have you ever heard of something mysteriously turning rusty in like less than 24 hours or anything that could maybe do that?
If anybody wants to check their memory, roll a religion check.
I got a 16.
Plus 3. 11.
Yeah, I've got 10 3 times on this one. 9.
Tisn't anything y'all have heard of.
Can't say that I have personally. Sure. Why do you ask?
Remember that big guy we tussled with?
Mm-hmm.
He had a gun with him, and it was not rusty. And then like I was downstairs and I smelled that the iron rust. I went looking for it, and the gun was now rusty. I couldn't figure it out though.
Hmm.
But I thought it would be best not to bring it up here where anyone could recognize it.
What? It might be in some way connected to the big guy.
But we did get it from him.
Could it mean that perhaps he's back on the prowl?
Do you think they remake him with his gun and then like the old one turns to like dust? If so, that would be really cool.
It's the only thing that makes sense to me. Just kind of only thing I could think of magically decaying metals.
Beats me. I do not know much about this gun technology. I am extremely inexperienced.
Correct. And I don't know much about magic, but maybe Mel has a little knowledge in that aspect.
It's me. We need to have a chat later. I'm going to play some.
We're gonna play Zone or Truth or Dare.
I will say
Nice.
that at about this time, Mr. Magus, you would be arriving back.
All right. So I've got everyone's clothes on my back. I come in the door. Are they all in the cellar or are they all upstairs?
They're all in their booth.
Okay, so I head down then with all of this stuff.
Are you also just carrying a giant rifle?
I am just carrying a giant rifle on my back, strapped onto the side of my backpack.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Everybody else is doing it. Yours is the most fancy and quite so you go and drop that off. Do you come back up into the... Actually, while you're down there, you go off into the cellar to drop everything off, and while you're down there, you see that the Leviathan, the gun, had been brought out, and you also notice the rust on it. While you're down there, please give me a religion check, but yours is with advantage.
With advantage. That's a 17, and then 18.
18, my man. You look at the gun, and you know... You see the rust on it, and your mind immediately wanders back to previous jobs of exorcism. You work in ghosts, but you've also dealt with other unholy beings. You do remember times where you would slay a demon which was using a weapon. And a couple hours after the demon is slain, the weapon turns to rust.
All right.
You remember
Is everyone else still in the room?
everyone is upstairs. You're the only
Oh,
one
they're
downstairs,
upstairs.
and you come to this revelation. But you know that when a fiend, demon, or celestial dies, their weapon turns to ash and rust.
And have they left the floorboards open, or is that stall still closed? And I don't really know about it.
You don't know about the stash under the floorboards.
Okay.
This
You
is
remember-
the rifle that Adrian had in her
Oh,
bag
yeah.
that she had pulled out.
Oh, okay.
You remember under the floor how there was like a hollow noise, but you never saw what was under there. And it was never briefed to you, I don't think.
Not sure what I'd do with it. Again, I guess I wouldn't really know.
It's just
I would know because I know it's the one that she had, right?
this is the one that you just pulled off the corpse 10 hours ago.
Yeah.
With that piece of knowledge, is there anything else you do in the cellar?
No, I guess I wouldn't need anything else, but I do write that down.
With that revelation, we are going to end the episode there. It has been 3 hours. And so, Jarvis, if you want to come in and, I don't know if you're listening, but we're going to end the episode there. Next episode, we are going to plan and execute the poker night scene and potentially a lot of stuff after that. So, thank you all for playing, and thank you even more for watching. I love the fame. And we will see you next time. Get your jazz hands ready. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.